welcome back. This is J. Arthur Brown from J. Arthur Brown and Associates. My phone number is 301-316-5246 and 202-889-2700. We on this morning to talk about filing taxes.
All right, everybody, we're back here. All right, Mr. Brown. I tell you, Mr. Brown, you got a secret talent, Mr. Brown. You sound good. Okay. All right, everybody. Today we're talking about taxes, and listen, don't get scared. Do not get scared, because I was just telling Mr. Brown on the break, the problem that I have in the beauty industry is most of us do not, or most of y'all, because I'm excluded because Mr. Brown is my tax man, but most of you want to hide that money and you do not want to pay your taxes. There has to come a time, or there must come a time, when you have to understand that in order for you to get that house, that condo, in order for you to get the things that anyone else have, you have to have those taxes. Part of my problem, Mr. Brown, is we have a lot of cosmetologists and barbers who say they want to own their own business,
right?
And of course, by doing that, they have to go to a banking institution to try to get some funding, and they have nothing to show for it, because they say, "Oh, I'm a hairstylist, I'm a barber." What does that mean? You're supposed to pay your taxes like everybody else.
Absolutely.
So talk to me, Mr. Brown, about when that person come in the door, what is the best way for you to tell the people in the beauty industry how to track how to track their money?
Well, one of the things that when people come into my door now, there's not a lot I can do other than deal with what they bring in and give them advice as to what they can do in the future by changing the direction which they are moving in. You're right. No one want to pay taxes. We see that all over the airways. If you've been following the politicians and the debates that's been going on, you can tell the tenor of where the country is going. No one want to pay taxes, even the people that have the money. So you can imagine low-income individuals and medium-income individuals don't want to pay a lot of taxes, because it's a real burden. And no one want to pay any more taxes than they are required by law.
That's right.
So when you take a look at barbers, first of all, they know how much money they're making, but they're not documenting a lot of that because they're not reporting it all. In many cases, I'm not saying this is all. In many cases, they're not reporting it all.
Well, I'm telling you, they're not reporting it all, because anytime they tell me that, according to the Department of Labor, statistics tell us that barbering is not a viable career, and I have a barbershop, and I know what they make.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
The problem is they're not filing the taxes and putting the correct on there. So, but more and more, I'm having individuals come in and file taxes. They're looking to buy a house. They're looking to get a car, and they're not just getting any kind of car. They want to get a car that costs a little money. That you got to show that document your income, and so when they are not getting a paycheck from their barber, they're mostly booth renters, and even if it's a person that owns their own place, they have to show, when they go to the bank to try and get a mortgage, a loan, show what kind of income they're making.
That's right.
Again, the basis by which these banks use is, what did you file and pay taxes on? They're going to ask you to file a form so that they can go to IRS and check your records. So if you haven't been filing and paying your fair share of taxes, chances are you're not going to get that loan for your house. If you want to buy a business, you can't get a SBA loan. You can't get a loan from the bank. You don't have anything to show that you're qualified other than what you're telling them. So the best thing to do is to document your income. Many people, I think a person in their business, if a person is an LLC, try and put all of your income in the bank that you make and draw a salary from that. I take a draw. And from that, make sure you pay your fair share in taxes. I would say that a person should get with their tax preparer and make sure they set out a strategy.
Exactly.
That strategy should be, here's what I expect to make this year. Here are what my expected expenses are going to be. And from that, you want to try and look at what's available in the tax law that help you to save, but yet and still you file and pay tax on the maximum amount that you should be paying taxes on.
Okay. So, Mr. Brown, so I could, let's say that I'm a hairstylist, and I could come to you and say, okay, I make $1,400 a week.
Right.
And you would do your calculation and tell me what you feel that the taxes are going to be, and then you can set up a plan with me that quarterly I can pay those taxes?
Absolutely. In addition to that, a lot of us are not putting money aside in an IRA, a 401k, or a SEP.
Okay, so
self-employed individuals can put money aside in a self-employment annuity.
Okay,
and
so what is an IRA? What is that?
Okay, an IRA is an instrument which allow individuals to set money aside for their future retirement. You can't draw that money out until you're 59 and a half, but that money can sit and grow for you tax-free. The money that you put into...
Can I borrow against it?
You can borrow against it in some cases.
Okay.
But for the most part, it's there for you when you reach retirement age. And the key thing about it is that you can use the contribution that you put in as a deduction, that deferred income. You don't pay taxes on that.
Oh.
Yeah, that's the key thing about that. And a person who is self-employed can go a step above an IRA and come in with a SEP. A SEP plan is a self-retired annuity that you can set up and write off at least about 12 to 15% of the income that you make. That is the net income.
Okay.
Set that aside, and that comes off the top of your income. You don't pay taxes on it, but it's counted on your tax return because it's part of your adjusted gross income.
Okay, so listen, 301-316-5246 in Maryland and 202-889-2700. Today we're talking to J. Arthur Brown and Associates. What make you, and Mr. Brown, we got to go through a series of things because I want to get all this out. You know, a lot of my listeners, I can tell, you know, a lot of them nervous this morning because you're talking about taxes. I feel it in my spirit. Okay. And I'm telling them now, you need to call J. Arthur Brown and Associates and allow him to set you up on a plan. He was a former barber. He knows how to set you up on a plan where you can pay those taxes quarterly, where he can help you with the IRA account, all those kind of things. Now, Mr. Brown, 301-316-5246, 202-889-2700. Mr. Brown, talk to us about how to maintain records. A lot of people, you know, I'm working with a guy now in my shop, and I was explaining every week he has to come in and tell me what he made, and what we're doing is that I'm setting a plan for him in reference to goals, you know, so he can become a 6-digit figure barber stylist like most of them are. Sure. The question that I have is how to maintain records. Talk to me about that.
Okay, one thing a person could do, they can go to any office supply store, go to perhaps even sometime maybe a drugstore and get these little income books that you maintain, which provides a record for you to record the amount of money that you're making each week. And once you record that money in there, record your expenses as well. There's a section in there where you can record what you made for the entire month, what did you spend, and show any other thing that you've done to incur cost against your income for that particular period. That's a good way of keeping records or maintaining records. In absence of that, if you're computer savvy, you can do it on Excel. Create an Excel spreadsheet to show what your income was for that particular month and what your expenses were. So it depends on what kind of help a person needs.
Now,
so there's no excuse for not maintaining good records. You can maintain that. But most times people maintain it in their head. They know what they're making on a regular basis, but
that's the problem.
Can't go back and document it.
Exactly. So now what is the big deal about QuickBooks? Everybody want to go get QuickBooks. What is that about?
Well, QuickBooks is a good system. It's an inexpensive accounting system that's user-friendly. Majority of the people use it. I guess that of my clients, probably 80 or 90% of them would use QuickBooks. And to do that, if you want to maintain your records on QuickBooks, that's a program that's already set up to help maintain record keeping, and it's a very inexpensive program, easy to use. One of the key things about it, at the end of the year, you don't have to go through all the accounting jargon of closing out. It automatically closes out on its own. Okay.
All right. So listen, we're going to go to break, but Mr. Brown, listen, we got to talk about, because I fall in this category, so I need you to help me too. We talk about how we dump at the end of the year all about papers on top of your desk at J. Arthur Brown and Associates for you to try to figure out everything from our bank statements to our invoices and all kinds of stuff. I want you to talk to us when we come back on what is the best way that we can prepare before we actually come to you, J. Arthur Brown and Associates. What do we need to do when we come in the door? So we want to talk about that. Listen, everybody, get that pen and paper out. When we come back, we want you to write down the number is 301-316-5246, 889-2700. Get that pen and paper out so you can write that down. J. Arthur Brown and Associates. I haven't forgot the question, and what makes you different from H&R Block. So we're going to talk about that, not just H&R Block, but all of those big tax folks. We're going to talk about that. We're live here on the Sea Island Morning Show. Bennett and Brown. We'll be back after these messages.